Prasanta sir, should we start?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yes, sir, start.
Start.
Yes,
Okay.
let's start.
Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the 45th Sunday Sahitya Satsang. In the series of lectures on feminism, this is the fourth lecture to be delivered by Dr. Somali Shaha of Women's College, and Dr. Revitalizing have impressed the audience with their lectures on various aspects of feminism. While Dr. Jadhav spoke on the life narratives of some women who had to face challenges in their lives to be what they are now, Ms. Chetna talked about the gendered contours of the partition of India. Dr. Dima Chakraborty focused on her reading of Mahadevi Verma to identify and establish the tropes of ecofeminism as imbibed within the native Indian culture. In today's lecture, Dr. Shobali Shah will enlighten us on a recent trend in Indian feminism. Dalit feminists have tried to prove that they do not fit into the setup of mainstream Indian feminism dominated by the upper middle class Indians, nor can they be judged by Marxist feminism, the other prominent school in Indian feminism. Dr. Somali will elaborate on this new trend of Indian feminism with reference to some autobiographical texts which may be termed as life narratives also, so far as Dr. Shalini is concerned. We are happy to have Mrs. Patriot Devarma, Assistant Professor of English, Netaji Subhash Mahavidyalaya, Udaipur, Tripura, amongst us as Master of Ceremonies. Mrs. Patriot is so renowned a figure in iSPELL forum that she needs no introduction. But for the newcomers, let me introduce Mrs. Devarma. With an experience of 10 years teaching in undergraduate level at Netaji Subhash Mahavidyalaya, Udaipur, Mrs. Devpurma is an assistant professor in the Department of English. Her areas of interest lies in feminist literature and Indian English literature. Her alma mater is Northeastern Hill University, from where she pursued her bachelor's and master's degree. At present, she is pursuing her PhD from Tripura University. She has conducted several national and international webinars on various issues during the pandemic situation and one national seminar recently. Besides teaching, she is trying to unearth and shed light to the emerging feminist issues in selected works of Cockborough literature. With these few words, I hand over the platform to Mrs. Deborma. Thank you.
Sir, Patriot Debamama has joined.
Okay, let me see. Patriot.
Please check. Because her name is not displayed here.
She hasn't joined, Pramod.
Right. Yes, sir. She
First
hasn't
of all, we
joined.
need to check people whom we are asking, have they joined or not?
Right.
Shomali Saha is there,
Yeah.
Dr. Shamta is there,
Yeah.
but the moderator is not there.
Right.
Have you joined? Joined it quick. Yeah, no. Four. Already program is started. Quickly. Okay, join and then let me see. Camera or no camera. Okay. Start. Yes, she's coming. Actually, she thought that it is 4:30. So that is
Oh.
the problem. She's joining.
Pramod, please stop YouTube live streaming right now.
Yes, sir. It is being streamed live.
No, stop it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
You continue it later when she joins. People must check the flyer first. What time it is written?
Right. has, she has joined.
Okay, she is joined.
Yeah,
She's joined.
let's start.
Okay, Patriot, carry on. Hello, Patriot, you should start
Yes,
now.
sir. Good evening, everyone. I, Patriot de Burma, welcome you all to the 45th Sunday Literary Satsang of iSPELL, which stands for Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature. Today, we are highly honored to have with us a galaxy of academicians joining us from all parts of the country and the world. Today's e-seminar is going to be on the topic Resistance and Resurgence, Revitalizing Dalit Feminist Stand in Select Dalit Women's Testimonies. I would like to welcome all the participants to this enlightening session. We are also joined today by the executive committee members of iSPELL, and I would like to extend my hearty welcome to all of them. Today, we are honored to have as our keynote speaker Dr. Shamali Shah, Assistant Professor of English, Women's College, Agartala, Tripura. Equally delighted to have as the chairperson for today's session Dr. Shamta Chaudhary, Head of the Department of English, SHSS Vardhaman Mahavir Open University, Kota, Rajasthan. Today's seminar is coordinated by none other than the seasoned academician, Dr. Prashanta Chakravorty, Vice President, iSPELL, Department of English, Rajarshi College of Education and Skill, Agartala, Tripura. Today, uh, I would like to now, first of all, invite and request our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Shamali Shah, who shall be deliberating at length about the topic of today's e-seminar. Dr. Shamali Shah is an assistant professor in English at Women's College, Agartala, Tripura. She has 13 years of teaching experience as an assistant professor in the different government degree colleges of Tripura. She is a NET, MPhil, and PhD holder and has obtained her PhD on Dalit women's autobiographies from Assam University, Silchar, in the year 2016. She is deeply interested in subaltern studies, Dalit literature, Northeast literature, and Fourth World literatures. She has attended and presented papers in a number of national, international seminars and conferences. She has delivered invited lectures as well as chaired sessions in a number of national and international e-conferences. She has published extensively in national and international journals and books. Her books are Empowerment of Tribal Women and Northeast India, a Cultural Revaluation. She loves to organize national and international seminars, conferences, workshops, and training programs for the knowledge seeking students and scholars of English literature. Recently, she organized a 3-day international webinar on Neither East nor West Vistas of Postcolonial Discourses and a 1-day national seminar on NEP 2020 The Way Forward. Her passion is to be a devout teacher and an ardent learner. Now, I would like to hand over this time to Dr. Shomali Shah for her deliberation on today's topic. Please, madam.
Thank you, Betket Madam, for your nice introduction. Am I audible and visible? Please let me know.
You are audible, ma'am, but not visible.
Okay, let me try.
Yes, now visible.
You are visible now, madam.
Uh, Before starting my presentation, I want to thank Professor G.A. Kancham sir and Jyoti Patil Madam for giving us this platform so that we can elevate ourselves. And I want to thank Dr. Prashant Chakraborty sir, who is my direct teacher, for providing me this scope, this opportunity to put my feelings to you all about my work on Dalit women autobiographies. And as far as this particular satsang is concerned, it is just like what I say, a kind of a spiritual experience for me on every Sunday evening. And I tried my best to attend all the satsangs because it always gives me a kind of a fresh lease of oxygen when we are under the constraints of the four walls of our room because of that constant lockdowns. So this platform, it is a kind of a particular spiritual blessing for me. uh, is my voice audible? Is it okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Let me share the screen now. Is the slide visible?
Yes, visible, ma'am.
The title of my presentation is Resistance and Resurgence, Revitalizing Dalit Feminist Stand in Select Dalit Women's Testimonies. In my particular lecture, I want to focus on the situation of the Dalits in the caste-ridden Indian society, the doubly marginalized condition of the Dalit women, how they are expressing themselves through literature, how they are coming into the forefront from their repressed condition, and their journey from repression towards resistance, and their autobiographies, which may be termed as testimonies, and how this particular Dalit feminist stand is getting revitalized in their testimonies. So this is what I want to focus through my lecture. So let us move through my presentation. Is the next slide visible to all?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Okay. So we know that as far as, uh, okay, let me start. We know that Indian society, or the caste structure of Indian society, it is the basis of all types of caste discrimination that are there in the Indian society. If we want to just focus, or if we want to uh, just find out the root of the Dalits, we have to go towards this type of caste structure which is prevalent in Indian society and since time immemorial. And there are some religious scripts or texts which are instrumental in case of propagating this type of stratifications in Indian society. And we can recollect the famous stotra of Purushottama of Rig Veda, wherein it was stated that Brahmanasaya Mukhamasi Bhu Rajanna Kruta Uru Tadasa Yadavesha Padabhayam Sudra Ajaya. And in this stratification, it has been believed that the creator, the Brahma, the Paramapurusha, he had sacrificed himself so that a proper social order could emerge. And out of his sacrifice, the Brahmins, it is believed that the Brahmins have been emerged from the head or mouth of Brahma. And they are the most dominant people, okay, dominant people, the most privileged section of the society. They are the Brahmins, they are the priests, the teachers, the preachers who are in the most privileged section of the society. And after these, the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas are next to hierarchy. And it is believed that the Kshatriyas have been born from the shoulder of the Brahma or the creator. The shoulder or arms is something which is associated to bravery. So these are the people who are the warriors, who are the rulers of the society. They are also in the privileged section of the society, but they are next to hierarchy as far as the Brahmins are concerned. And as far as the other people are concerned, the Vaishyas are there, who have been believed that they have took their they taken birth from the lower part, that is the thighs of Brahma, and they are the farmers, the traders, the merchants, and they are less privileged in the Indian society. And after this, they are the Shudras, who are the laborers, and they are at the lowest rung of the social ladder. So this is the four-tier caste structure of Hinduism, and it is there in Upanishads. And now the question is that where are the Dalits? Who are the Dalits? As far as this caste structure is concerned, there is no place of the Dalits. They are outside the caste structure of Hinduism. They are the Avarnas. They are not included in the Chaturvarna system. They are the Panchamavarnas. They are the outcasts. They are the untouchables. And they are attributed to sweep the streets, to sweep the drains, to clean the sewage, to clean the dead carcasses. So all the lowly works were attributed to them. They are the Dalits. So they are the outcasts which are known by degraded names such like that of Chamar, Mahar, Mang, Parayar, and they are dehumanized by the caste Hindu order. And as far as the term Dalit is concerned, it was first used by Dr. Ambedkar in his journal Bahishkrut Bharat, that is Outcast of India. And there he was using that particular term Dalit, who are for the people who are excluded from the services and the rights of the central position of the society. And this particular term is derived from Sanskrit root word dal, which means crushed, somebody who is broken into pieces, somebody whose identity is crushed or ground down, or it is kind of a negative description. Okay, but since the 1970s, the term has been used generically in India to represent the constituency of peasants, the workers, the women, the tribals, the extouchable caste who are the victims of different types of marginalization. Okay, and Dr. Ambedkar, he chose the term broken man as the English translation of this particular Dalit is concerned. And during 1970s or 73, that particular period, the Dalit Panthers Party emerged. And in their 1973 manifesto, they revived this particular term Dalit, and they included all the other members of the scheduled tribes and castes, the new Buddhists, the women who are the victims by the multiple layers of discriminations of Indian society, and they expanded the the limitation, the periphery of the word Dalit. Okay, so that was how the term Dalit came into being. Now, what was going on then that period, or what was the roles that were attributed to them? We already came to know. Then the thing is that this particular people, they were considered the lowest type of people. They were given a kind of a degraded identity, and they were called auspicious, untouchables. And their shadows are also counted or called something which is impure, something which is polluted. And whenever they are going to visit the upper class lanes, they had to tie some earthen pots on their necks or some brooms to their bodies, so that whenever they are crossing the upper class lanes, they can wipe out the footprints, okay, by that particular broom or the water from the earthen pots. So they were given a kind of a subhuman existence. They were treated as animals rather than being treated as subjects. So that was the degraded condition. And when the upper caste people were constantly describing these people as somebody who is lowly, somebody who are having a kind of a subhuman existence, that particular generalization was so much inclined or internalized in their psyche that they have just were just thinking that yes, this is their identity. They are only for doing all the lowly works of the society, and as if they have taken birth only for that particular purpose. So they have just gone into a state of repression as far as the situation of Dalit in Indian society is concerned. No, so that was the situation of Dalit in general. Now let us see what is the condition of Dalit woman in Indian society. So, a feminist like Ruth Manorama, she once said that the Dalit woman, she is considered a Dalit among the Dalits. It is not that she is burdened by only caste and class, but some critics used to say that they are the victims of double marginalization of caste and gender. Some people used to say that they are the victims of multiple marginalization. Somebody say that they are the victims of triple marginalization of caste, class, and gender. But these people, they are the victims of the multiple layers of patriarchy, overlapping layers of patriarchy. As far as caste is concerned, they are subject to the caste oppression by the hand of the upper caste people, upper caste men and women. And as far as class discrimination is concerned, they are the laborers who are subject to class oppression, mainly at the hand of the upper class people. And as far as the gender is concerned, they are subjugated as women because they are experiencing oppression at the hands of not only the upper caste men but also by the own people in their own caste. So that was the peculiar difference or the peculiarities that the Dalit women are experiencing. We can here recollect the Simone Beauvoir's work, The Second Sex, wherein she was presenting anxiously that what is the condition of women in Indian society, not in Indian society, but in the society in general, that man is the absolute, she is the other. And here, the condition of Dalit women is that she is not only the other in the mainstream society or for particular the men, she is considered other for the women also. So that is the multiple marginalization that the Dalit women are facing in Indian society, and they are called Dalit among the Dalits, or marginalized among the marginalized, or subaltern among the subaltern. So let us move to the next one. Yes, the question is that whether they will be in that particular repressed condition for a long time, whether they are able to speak. So here the question is that can the Dalit woman speak? So here we can recollect the famous essay, the phenomenal essay of Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak, wherein she said that she posed the question to the academia that can the subaltern speak? So when she was just posing this question, she was very much anxious about the inability ability of the subaltern woman or the subalterns to speak for themselves. And she was stating us that if the subaltern people or the subaltern women are about to speak, or if they are attempting to speak, the problem is with the reception, okay? Whether the people, they are eager to listen to her words or her problems. So the problem is not with the articulation, the problem is with the reception. So herein we also say that whenever somebody is succumbed to depression, or they are succumbed to silence or something like that in a very submerged condition, it is not the silence which is going to remain for a long time, because according to Freud, there is always a return of the repressed, and the repressed condition will be overcome, you know, by the suppressed women or the repressed women, and they will obviously try to speak, try to articulate their experiences, their emotions, their feelings. So it is the basic need of humanity. Whenever people are just pushed into silence by force, they will definitely come back. So here we can also reiterate whatever Gayatri Spivak Chakraborty said in her essay, The Literary Representation of the Subaltern, that we can say that the sixth subaltern cannot speak. But if we try to extend this particular focus into the gender subaltern, then we can say that the gender subaltern can indeed speak. And here the marginalized people cannot remain dormant, cannot remain silent for a long time. They will speak. The gendered subaltern can indeed speak. And how they will speak? Yes, they will obviously be inspired by the revolutionary social activists like Phule and Ambedkar. And through that revolutionary activities, yeah, they are actively just coming forward. Okay, they are just including their names and into that particular women's movement or the Dalit movement, and they are getting so much inspiration from the revolutionary activists like Phule and Ambedkar, and whatever they are promoting, they are teaching to them, and now they are going to establish their identity. And the identity and the way they are going to establish their identity, it is just the voice of their own. So it is their experience, it is their emotions, their feelings they want to ventilate. So it is not that they will just remain dormant for a long time. And yes, people do not want to speak obviously our voice, sorry, listen to our voice. So it is not that we will remain dormant for a long time. So they are just coming forward, they are bouncing back against all odds, and they are going to establish their identity through a voice which is completely their own. Uh, Now, this is the journey of the Dalit women from repression to resistance. So, as far as literature is concerned, we know that since time immemorial, literature has been instrumental in propagating and perpetuating human values. And literature is also the replica of our life, of our society. It is the mirror of our society. So now, the subaltern women, the Dalit women, they starts to appear in literature as a speaking subject. Now, she's going to demolish that systematic presentation of a Dalit woman in the mainstream literature. Because if we just go back to the upper caste literature or the literature written by upper caste women and men and even the Dalit women, we can see that there was a kind of a deliberate what I say, gap in those particular works. And the picture of Dalit women, it was a kind of a stigmatized picture, a kind of a a, what I say, it was a kind of a manufactured presentation. It was not the original one. And the Dalit women, through their works, they are going to oppose that particular erasure which is present in the mainstream literature. And now she is coming forward. She is being able to change her repressed identity. And the process is how she is going to extend her identity beyond the biological configuration of her self as a Dalit, as a woman. Now she is going to extend her towards the cultural specificity, and obviously they are coming here. They are going to appear as a speaking subject in literature. So that is the way this Dalit women, they are doing their journey. They are on their voyage from their repressed condition to the resistance and the resurgence of these women. Uh, Now, as we start what is the literature, we will see that this particular literature is the medium, it is the forum and the medium of the expression of the Dalit women or as well as Dalit men. And this particular term, Dalit literature, can be located from the first Dalit conference, which was held in the year 1958 in Maharashtra. At that time, there was a great tumult which was going on in Maharashtra. People were writing in Marathi language, and there were some writers who were coming into being, such that of Udaya Power or Charan Kumar Limbale. So those writers were writing, and yeah, they were just sensing a kind of an urge, so that a particular literature, a particular discipline can be immersed. And that was the feel of how the Dalit literature came into being during that 1950s and 60s. And as far as this particular discipline, this particular literature is concerned, it is not a type of a pleasure-giving literature. It is not committed to give us something which is the kind of an aesthetic pleasure or a kind of a spiritual pleasure, nothing like that. It is a protest literature, which is mirroring the stark realities of the Dalit situations faithfully. There will be no exaggerations. It will be a kind of a faithful mirroring of the Dalit realities, whatever they are facing in their own life. And it is an important weapon to strengthen the Dalit political and social movement. Because if we recollect, we will see that the Dalit writers, mainly they were activists. As far as the Dalit Panther movement is concerned, we will see that the Dalit Panthers, they were a group of young writers and young social workers. They were all activists, and those activists, they took literature as their weapon, okay, to strengthen their activity, their political movement. So that is the way how Dalit literature came into being, and the history of Dalit literature. So Dalit literature, we can just divide it into some categories. For example, literature written by the upper caste people, where they are writing about the Dalit situations, and another Dalit literature written by the Dalit people. So this genre is coming into being as a separate discipline. Uh, Now, what is the aesthetics of Dalit literature? It is a very interesting one. We know that the aesthetic of Dalit literature is very much different, and it is based on the principle. It is not based on the principle of a particular aesthetic literature of the upper class people, where they believe that the pleasure giving is the motto of literature. And according to the traditional aesthetics, we can assume that they want that literature should be something which is describing the worldliness and something which is universal and spiritualistic. But here, Dalit aesthetics is not just the aesthetics of the universal or the traditional aesthetics. It is different. It is based on the theory of negation, because it is about the real experiences of life. And according to the Dalit people, according to the men of letters of the Dalit community, they believe that the literature should be, or literature should take the artistic qualities from the reality. Okay, so when it is taking that artistic quality from the reality, or the inspiration from the reality, it is called materialistic. So that's why Dalit aesthetic, it's materialistic. There is nothing pleasure giving here. No, not that kind of traditional language structure is followed here. So whatever aesthetics they are following, it is quite different from the mainstream literature. And why is the difference? Because as the Dalits' experiences are different, their literature should be different, and the literature is different from the other genres. So this particular aesthetics by which the literature should be judged, that aesthetics should be also different. So here, Sharan Kumar Limbale, he was a famous Dalit writer. In his work, the Towards the Aesthetics of Dalit Literature, he wrote that that concept of the aesthetics that is based on Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, it is completely negated by the Dalit writers. Here, which is real, it is true. And what is real in Dalit work? It is the stark reality. It is the excruciating, painful reality. And it is the real thing. It is the Satyam. And Shivam means you have to work for the betterment for the society, for the Dalit people. And it is the Shivam for this Dalit people. And in case of the service, if it is about the humanity of the Dalit people, it is the Sundaram. So here the concept of Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, what is there in the traditional aesthetic, it is quite missing in the literature, or in the aesthetics of Dalit literature. So it is a different type of literature, and its aesthetics should also be different. So As far as my particular title is concerned, we know that I'm just going to revitalize the Dalit feminist stand as far as the Dalit women's autobiographies or the testimonies are concerned. So it is very much indispensable that we should revise some tenets of feminism also, because as far as the mainstream feminism is concerned, we will see that the feminists, they were advocating for the rights of women on the ground of the equality of sexes. So we know that sex and gender, these are quite different, because sex is something which is denoting the biological identity of a person. It is quite natural. But whatever society is denoting us, whenever a child is taking birth, with the particular birth, we just denoting that she is a male or female, or if you are a girl, then you have to wear frocks, and then you have to do these things, those things, you can't jump, you can't run. So these are the prohibitions which are given on a particular girl whenever she is just taking birth. So this is the gender. It is something which is a totally socio-cultural context, and this is the particular thing that the mainstream feminists, they want something which is based on the ground of the equality of sexes, and they want liberation from the patriarchal hegemony. So if we say that the hegemony is concerned in a particular society, and wherever there is power structure, there will be possibly some division in the society, some hegemony in the society. And as far as the women are concerned, we have seen that they are the victims of patriarchal domination. So here the mainstream feminists, they want some liberation, complete liberation from the hegemonic structure of patriarchy, and they are advocating for women empowerment, and they are going to express their identity as a woman. Okay, and they are going for, they are just moving towards social, political, as well as economic equality in a particular society. And she is considering herself that I am not a kind of an inferior one. I am not the second sex. Okay, I am equal to men. Whatever man can do, I also can do. So they were advocating for educational rights. They were advocating for economic rights. They were advocating for gender equality, human rights. So all these types, all the particular things are coming in the feminist movement, and they are also questioning the gender roles of the society. So then we can say that, then why Dalit feminism? If we can say that, yes, in the mainstream feminism, they are covering all the women's issues in general. So then what is the need of Dalit feminism? Because in the mainstream feminism, everything is getting covered. So the Dalit feminists, they are trying to canonize this particular discipline as a serious approach. Okay, and it is something which is little bit different from the Indian mainstream feminism. Here, they are not going against Indian feminism, or they are not opposing Indian feminism. They wanted to reorient and redirect feminism for gender justice. And another thing is that they want to problematize the intersectionality of caste and race in Indian society. And whatever I have already shown, that in mainstream Indian feminism, there is a tendency to sideline the issues concerning the marginalized women, maybe it deliberately or not deliberately. Whenever they are stating that yes, we are working for all women in general, we are covering all the women's issues in general. But the problem is that whatever the Dalit women are going to feel, that their issues are only given a kind of a subservient position in the mainstream feminist criticism. And here the Dalit feminists, they are trying to highlight that flaw, that ideological flaw, that lacuna, that gap in mainstream feminism. So that is the emergence of Dalit feminism. And then if we say that, yes, what is the difference between the mainstream feminism and the Dalit feminism? Here we will see that the caste privileged feminists are there at the forefront of mainstream feminism, and they are leading that particular movement actually. And they are claiming to represent all the women's issues in general, all, even the marginalized issues also. But here the Dalit feminists, they are just highlighting, or the lacuna, that gap, and they are interrogating and redefining that feminism from a Dalit point of view, and they are demanding for a rethinking notion of that patriarchy. And in mainstream feminism, we have seen that there is a clear inclination towards taking the feminist thesis as their premise and abandoning women's relation to caste. And on the contrary, the Dalit feminist theory, they are investigating the relation between the caste and gender. And they are considering the perspective of caste as their feminist thesis. And when the Indian feminist, the mainstream feminism, it is suppressing the caste question. And it is the suppression is to such an extent that sometimes it is thought that feminism itself, it has been seen as a kind of a modality of subjugating women from Dalit communities. But the Dalit feminism, they are not going against mainstream feminism. They just try to go with the mainstream feminists, and they try to give us a kind of a complete picture of the caste, that subjugation that Dalit women, they have to undergo because of the caste feminism. They wanted to just identify that gap, and they want to fill up that gap also by their works, by their ideologies. And as far as we know that the Dalit feminists, when they are propagating about their ideas, and they are not thinking about only themselves, they are also extending their what I say limitation to work for or to think for the other women who are just like the Dalit women. They are also facing same kind of deprivation, okay, maybe in another society. So there is a similarity between the Black feminist and the Dalit feminist. And we have seen that though there are many similarities, there are also some little differences about their predicament, about their choices, about their subjugations. So when the Black feminism, it is recognizing the multiple deprivations of Black women on the basis of race, class, and gender. Here, the Dalit feminists, they are recognizing the multiple deprivation of Dalit women on the basis of caste, class, and gender. So that is just the difference between Black feminism and Dalit feminism, wherein the Black feminists, they are criticizing the established discourse on the ground of the difference of their experience of combined discrimination, which is completely based on race and gender. And now for the Dalit feminist, caste is the sole, and to rectify this kind of caste problems, it is the sole responsibility of the Dalit feminists. So that is the little difference between Black feminism and Dalit feminism. Now, if we say that yes, the Dalit women are different, and why they are different, because we have already told that because of that difference, they wanted a kind of a different aesthetics, they want a kind of a different feminism. So what is the difference, and what is the difference according to the Dalit feminists? So here I want to recollect here on essay written by Gopal Guru, Dalit women talk differently. So they wanted to say that this is our sorrow, and our sorrows remain only ours. It never became theirs. So their sufferings, it is not because of something which is very much external, but they are the sufferers because of the external as internal factors, and it is resulting in a kind of a difference in their lifestyle, in their talking, in their living, in their literature, everything, everywhere there is the difference. And the phenomenon of talking differently, it is a kind of an act of dissent against the exclusion in the mainstream feminist politics, as well also in the dominant patriarchal culture. And this particular difference, it is seeking to trace that exclusion of the women's voices in the two important movements of the 1970s and 80s, that was the Dalit movement and the women's movement. We have seen that in women's movement, the leaders, they were speaking for the different rights of the Dalit women, but in some way the issues of Dalit women was missing. And even in the Dalit movement, the Dalit people were just fighting for their their rights in general, their rights, their social positions, the equality. But there also they were missing the problems which are associated to Dalit women. So that is the difference. So we may say that there are obvious discriminations in every society, not only in Indian society. In every society there is the difference. But somebody, they are different because of their class. Somebody is different because of their position in the society. somebody are different because of their what I say, because of being poor or for religion. But here we have seen that multiple layers of what I say differences are faced by Dalit women. They are degraded and dejected in such a level that even they are termed just like impure. Somebody who is impure. We can recollect here the works that is the Manusmriti. Okay, in Manusmriti, Manu used to say that the women and the lower class people, they are considered impure. We can recollect also the famous work by Rabindranath Tagore, Chandalika, where he said that in Bengali, the Chona Chona Sheto Chandalini Ji. Okay? So Chandalini Ji means she is the daughter of a Dalit woman, and her touch is also impure, and it seems that whatever she is touching will get rotten, will get spoiled. Okay? So that was also coming in the literature of many people, in the upper caste literature, in the Dalit literature. But whatever is there in the Dalit movement, in the women's movement, in the literature written by the upper caste people, in the literature written by the upper caste women, and even in the literature written by Dalit men, there was some exclusion. There was a kind of a gap, a kind of a lacuna, what the Dalit women they are able to trace. And that is the difference. And for this reason, they are going for a separate type of discipline for them. And Sharmila Rege. So if we want to express the Dalit feminist ideology, we come to miss Sharmila Rege, because she is a great Dalit activist as well as a Dalit feminist. She's also a great writer, and she's the author of a book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, narrating Dalit women's testimonies. So here she offers a critique of difference from a Dalit feminist standpoint position. And she argues that feminist difference, this particular feminist ideology, it is incomplete unless the difference from a curse perspective is added to it. So that is the failure of the mainstream feminism, because they are not adding that caste particularities, that particular paradigm into their discipline. So she is asserting that due to this adequate lack of force, sometimes it seems that the atrocity which are pondered on the Dalit women, it is marked either as caste atrocity or as a sexual atrocity. But the point is that caste is taken as an instrument by the upper class people to torture those Dalit women. And caste is not only responsible for the division of labor in a particular society, caste-ridden society, but it is also responsible for the division of sexual labor or sexual division of labor, whatever Rege has enunciated. And she also argues that mainstream feminism does not actually concentrate on the uniqueness, okay, and the uniqueness of the marginalization section of the society, because here the Dalit women, they are the victims of different types of discrimination, and this thing is completely absent in the mainstream feminism. So that is what Sharmila Rege wanted to say as far as the Dalit feminist standpoint is concerned. And she actually wanted to describe that it is something which is a kind of a plurality of difference, okay? And Dalit feminism is something, it, its condition is just like that of Dalit woman, because we know that in a particular Indian caste-ridden society or in a Dalit society, the Dalit woman is called or termed as Dalit among the Dalits. And here also, the Dalit feminism, it is termed as feminism within feminism. Okay, so here the same kind of discrimination is just experienced by the feminist. And another thing it is that this particular what is the ideology, it is something which is a discourse of dissent or a discourse of difference from the mainstream feminist criticism, mainstream feminist ideology. And here, these people, they are not only dismantling the hierarchical structures of the society, but they are coming forward, okay, with their own strategies, with their own ideologies. So that is whatever Sharmila Rege had said in her book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, narrating Dalit women's testimonials. Then her another essay towards the Dalit family standpoint position. It was titled as Dalit Women Talk Differently, the Dalit Women's Standpoint Position, something like that. So in that particular article, particular essay, she was just explaining us what is the Dalit family standpoint. And according to her, this particular standpoint emerges from the practices and the struggles of Dalit women. So it is something which is coming into being, and it is completely related to the struggles of the Dalit women. And it may originate in the works of the Dalit feminist intellectuals, but it cannot flourish if it is isolated from the experiences and ideas of other groups who must educate themselves about the histories, about the preferred social relations, about the utopias, about the struggles of the marginalized. So that is the thing that she highlighted in her article. And there should be a transformation from their cause to our cause. And why that transformation is needed, because if you are advocating the or Dalit feminism, it is not that you are just describing something of your own, something of your individual experiences, something whatever you have gone through in your particular or in your personal life, but you should feel that you must educate yourself about your root, about your identity, about the social relation, about the struggle of the marginalized. So these things should come out, no, through your writing, through your ideology. So that is the thing, that is the peculiar Dalit feminist standpoint. And it is obviously a discourse of dissent. It is a politics of difference. It is a plurality of difference. And it is obviously different from the mainstream ideology. So that is what Sharmila Rege wanted to say through her essay. Then, as far as Dalit women writers are concerned, we can say that yes, the number of Dalit women writers are not very many in number, because we know that most of them they are in very underprivileged condition, and it is not very much what I say. It is not possible for the Dalit women to come forward from that particular marginalized condition towards the mainstream literature. So there are very few Dalit women writers, they are coming into the mainstream, and it is obviously because of their writing. So as far as the first Dalit feminist and Dalit women writer is concerned, we can take the name of Bama. Bama Faustina Mary, she was a Tamil writer, and she is very much related to the Dalit feminist movements and women movements in general. And through her autobiography, she is describing the different layers of what I say. Deprivations that the Dalit women had to endure in her life. And her autobiography, Karakku, Sangati, Vanmam, those were coming one after another. And for Karakku, she was also awarded with the Crossword Prize. So she is coming to the forefront through through her autobiographies, and it is that her autobiographies now are prescribed in several eminent universities, and it is through Bama that we are able to know the close structure of the Dalit women's life, and we are able to go into that inner recesses of a particular Dalit world of a particular Dalit woman. So her contribution is unparalleled as far as the Dalit women writings are concerned. And then we can go to the works of Santabai Dani. She is a writer who is very much prominent for her writing, but specifically she used to write in Marathi language. And there are very less publications which are being translated from Marathi to English. She is also a very great writer, and very much, what I say, involved with Dalit feminist movements. And Mukta Sarvagod, she is famous for her autobiography Closed Doors, wherein she described the peculiar lifestyle, and she put limelight on those particular marginalized women of Indian society who are different, whatever we have just discussed till now. So that different lifestyle of a particular Dalit community was also brought out by Mukta Sarvagod in her novel, in her autobiographical work, Closed Doors. Then comes Urmila Power. She is a very known personality. She's a woman who is very much famous for her memoir, The Weave of My Life. And she is also very much actively involved with the Ambedkarite movement, and she was working for the liberation of her women from the clutches of the triple marginalization. And I will discuss about her novel in my later slides. Then Baby Kamble, she is another very aged writer, but she is also very much prominent for her autobiographical novel, The Prisons We Grow. And in that particular novel, she has highlighted different layers of resistance, different types of protest, whatever the Dalit women are adopting to make their identity established. And then Shantabai Kamble, she was also writing in original languages, and very little works are translated into English. She is the author of the writing The Kaleidoscope Story of My Life, wherein she has described the need to come out of the doors, or to bounce back the odds and the clutches of the patriarchy, several layers of patriarchy which is there in the Dalit society. And Kumud Paude, she is a professor of Sanskrit. And in her autobiographical extract, which is there in the book of Sharmila Rege, writing Caste, writing Dalit. In that particular extract, she just put forward her experiences and whatever hindrances she faced while she was going to learn Sanskrit. And we know that the Dalit women, they were not given the right to just learn the classical languages like Sanskrit and other, and they were not given the right to go go through the religious scripts also. But here there were so many deprivations that Kumud Paude faced in her life when she was going to learn Sanskrit. And in this particular extract, she has very, what I say, vehemently described all her experiences, whatever she endured when she was going to just master this particular language. But she did it, and she became a professor of Sanskrit. Now she is able to teach Sanskrit to so many people. So these are the Dalit women who are coming into the limelight through their autobiographical works. Now, as far as Dalit women autobiographies are concerned, I want to show some light on this particular genre, because the Dalit literature in general, it was, what I say, there were so many forms and types of literature. Somebody were writing short stories, somebody was writing poems, somebody were writing even novels, dramas. So many genres were coming into being, but it was autobiography. It was autobiography, and the Dalit people find autobiography as the most potent tool of their self-expression, because it is the autobiography that through this particular autobiographies they were able to give a kind of a close view of the female experiences. Here it is not that they are only describing their own experiences, but there are also some community stories which are coming into being. It particular genre, it has some, what I say, subgenres also. Somebody used to call that the Dalit women autobiographies. They are not the autobiographies or the ideal types of autobiographies. Some critics used to say that they are narrated autobiographies. They are personal narratives. They are testimonials. So whatever is, this particular genre was just taken by the Dalit people to just delineate or to do some introspection on their lives, or to give a kind of a very clear and crystal view of their experiences. And these autobiographies, whatever the feminist writings are also going to give us, that these autobiographies are trying to fill the vacuum, okay, which is created by the mainstream writings as far as the Dalit version of reality is concerned, and the Dalit voices and history is concerned. So these autobiographies, they are coming with their harsh realities, the excruciating, what I say, the experiences, and they are identifying the vacuum, identifying the lacuna, and they are filling up the vacuum by their own version of history, by their own voices, as far as Dalit history is concerned. And these autobiographies, they are becoming alternate histories, instead of just a personal record of experiences of or the feelings of the individuals. So here they are just going to reconstruct that manufactured history which is there by the mainstream of literature, and they want to reconstruct a particular space of their own. And their autobiographies, it is getting, or it is taking the place of alternate histories, because they are not going to give only the personal records of experiences or their own feelings being an individual Dalit, but they are also becoming a particular alternate history. And the thing is that, yes, the Dalit autobiographies, they are considered testimony. So then why they are considered testimony, or what is testimony, or what is the difference between autobiography and testimony? So we know that, yes, testimonial is something which is, we may call it a subgenre of autobiography. It is something which is written in first person narrative. And here the protagonist or the narrator, he or she is the real protagonist, but with this particular work of a protagonist, of a principal character, she is also doing the work of a witness. She is also doing witnessing whatever is going on in the society. So if we tell that, if we can say that the subaltern women, the Dalit women, they are going to speak, they are trying to speak, then testimonial is the option. It is the most authentic voice of the subaltern, because here the focus is on activism rather than aesthetics. And here the Dalit women, they are attempting to transform the narration of a life story into the construction of a history of a group of people. Okay, so no individual concern is there. She is just going to embrace the whole community with this particular work, with this particular testimonial. And it is a kind of a dialogue or dialectics between the self and the society. And the testimonies of Dalit women, they are consciously violating the genre boundary. Okay, they are consciously violating it. They are violating the genre boundary of autobiography. They are crossing the boundary, and they are replacing it with the collectivity of the Dalit community. And there is the speciality of the Dalit autobiographies. They are turning into testimonials. So, as far as the testimonials is concerned, let us see the different texts. This is Karaku, written by Bama. Bama is the Tamil Dalit writer. I have already just highlighted some of our issues that covered by her. Karaku was the first autobiographical novel written by Bama, wherein she exposes the hypocrisy of the Catholic Church, which was a new thing. Because as far as this particular autobiography is concerned, we have seen that in this particular autobiography, Bama is just delineating her experience of being a Dalit. Because whenever she was a representative of her Dalit community, she was describing her deprivations, whatever she had to undergo as a part of Dalit community, as a Dalit woman. But she had a mission in her mind that I want to do something for my community. And what is the scope? Then she wanted to join the Christian nunnery. Okay, because her grandfather also embraced Christianity, because he found that in Christianity there is no such hypocrisy, no such patriarchal dominations or caste discriminations. So she also wanted to embrace the nunnery. But the thing is that when she joined the nunnery, she found that even in that Catholic Church, even in the what is it, in the boundaries of the that the place, the Christian nuns, they are just what I say, depriving the Dalit nuns only because of their discrimination based on caste. And here she got to know that as if I have converted into Christianity only to do some service for my fellow Dalit women. But this is the opposite thing. It seems that I have just jumped from frying pan to fire. And now she felt that it is not the way to just work or to do some what I say positivity to do some positive work for my community. Then she changed her decision. She left the nunnery and she joined that Dalit community again. And by joining the Dalit community also, she find that her friends, her women, they are not to not going to embrace her. Okay, just like the other time, that earlier time. Now that is the crisis that Bama is facing in her life. Then it seems to her that where I am now, I do not have an identity, because it seems that something has just submerged me into a deep what I say dominated notion. So then somebody was just requesting her, you just write your personal experiences, and the result is karaku. And as far as the term karaku is concerned, it is a term which is just have some multiple symbols. It has some meanings. Karaku, in one way, it is symbolizing the palmyra leaf. Palmyra leaf, it is a particular leaf which is doubly edged leaf. It is a knife-like structure, and this particular leaf, it is symbolizing the double bind colonization that the Dalit women are suffering, for which the Dalit women are suffering. And in another sense, karaku is symbolizing seed. Okay, and we know that seed is the symbol of resurrection. A seed is something which is denoting some new thing. Okay, so with this particular novel, she is challenging the oppressors, okay, who has disempowered the Dalits. And she is also echoing for the need of a new society, a new, okay, a kind of a rebirth. So Karaku is very symbolic as far as this particular notion is concerned. And this text asserts the Dalit selfhood, the Dalit history, their identity, that we have to know ourselves. We have to realize ourselves first. If we are not able to know ourselves, then how the other people will understand us? So that is the problem. That is the notion of self-realization, that we want to assert our history. We want to assert our selfhood. So that was the thing which Obama wanted to bring forth through this particular autobiographical novel. Next, it is another very good, interesting novel written by Bama. It is the title that Sangati. Sangati means events, okay? When some events are interrelated with each other, and it is also a Tamil work which was later translated by Lakshmi Holmstrom, and it was published by Oxford India Paperbacks. And this particular text unveils how Bama is a representative of the voiceless Dalit women. She is transferring a particular narration into the construction of the history of a group of people. Here, we can say that Sangati is the community manifesto. Here, it is the story of the whole community that is coming into being. And she was taking many stories from her community women, which are very true to life. There was not a single exaggeration in their life story. Their life was totally different. And there are some characters who didn't know even the concept of normal hygiene in their life. And as a woman, we our days now, we can't imagine a single day without the powders and the puffs and the perfumes. But these Dalit women, they didn't know what is the use of detergent or why detergent is used. And we know that we are wearing so many costly dresses and from branded quality, but those people, they were wearing the same dress for a long time, and those dresses were lice infected, okay? And they didn't know that we have to wash ourselves, we have to wash our clothes after every day, we have to just maintain this particular hygiene. So that basic need, that basic things were unheard for them. And during festivities, during some community programs, they used to take bath, they used to wash their clothes. And do you know, they were using clay from the river to wash their clothes. And their whole body was lice infected, the whole dresses were infected by lice, and that was the filthy condition in which they were living. So that particular story, Bama, she was collecting from her society, from her community women. And we know that there are also some other characters. And as far as the division of labor is concerned, we know that the men, they are for the productive work, and women, they are honored, they are given respect for the reproductive work. But herein we will see that how the Dalit women, they are doing all types of works. She is playing her role as a reproductive mother. She is playing her role as a productive woman. So there is another tale which I want to share with you, because even I feel now goosebumps whenever I'm just going to recollect that story, because that was the real story. Nothing, no exaggeration is there. There was a character in this particular Sangati. The character, she was in her advanced stage of pregnancy. She was doing all her works throughout the day, but she had to go to the field to cut the grains, okay, and to collect the firewoods, because this is adding to the productive value of a family. But there was nothing, nobody in her family to help her in her household works, and even in their works in the field. So she went there in that condition, okay. And whenever she was there in the field, she felt the labor pain, and she gave birth to a baby on that particular spot under the scorching heat of sun. Can you imagine? We can't imagine this particular story, because we are having so many facilities. We can say that yes, there are so many schemes, so many provisions in the mainstream society, in the by the government of India, or there are so many things which are there. No, we can see the leads just through our eyes in front of us. So how the autobiographies are delivering or describing this type of things in their stories, but that was the difference. That was the real life story. So that particular lady, she gave birth to a baby on that particular area under the scorching sun, and she cut the umbilical cord with that particular sickle that she was carrying for cutting the grains. And after that, she buried the placenta. She took the baby on her lap. She took the, what I say, the corns or the firewoods on her head, and she carried all the things. She came back home, and it was the normal thing that she is doing. Then here also we can recollect the famous essay by Gayatri Chakrabarti Spivak, the literary subaltern, sorry, the literary representation of the subaltern, wherein she translated that Mahashweta Devi's works, Tanadaini. So there was a particular character, Yashoda. She was selling her breast milk only to get that kind of productive what I say value for that reproductive facility, reproductive capacity that she possessed. So herein also we are seeing that this Dalit women, she is giving birth to her baby, she is welcoming her reproductive quality, and she is adding to the productive productivity of her family also. So that was the life story that we can say we can highlight in this particular novel. And that's why this autobiographies or the testimonies are different. It is not only the story of a particular Dalit woman. It is the story of the whole community that Pama is trying to weave together, and it is the events. Particular stories or Sangati. Maybe also by some critics, they have said that Sangati is a type of interconnected events. Okay, it is not that type of a traditional autobiography. So we can call it, it is a type of a community manifesto. It is a type of a testimonial. And here the writers, they are deliberately, they are consciously, what I say, crossing the genre boundaries. And this text is enabling the reader to experience, because that particular genre boundary is violated here. And by dictating the I and by replacing it with the we. So there is a journey from I to we, from the individuality to the collectivity of the community. So it is a very interesting and a very unflinching description of the Dalit experiences, which are different from the normal experiences of women. And that's why the Dalit, particular the Dalit works, they are called the testimonies or the community manifestos. Here it is another work, another more important or the very interesting work, The Prisons We Broke, written by Devi Kamble. It is also published by Orion Black Swan, and it was written in Marathi, which was later on translated by Maya Pandit, a famous translator. And in this particular novel, autobiographical novel, we will see that how it is remains in its essentials the protest of the Dalit women. And the woman is protesting because of her distorted images which are there. Okay, she wants to discard those kind of manufactured or the distorted images which are forcing herself, true self, into a confined area. And she wanted to just what I said, demolish those distorted images which are there in the other works. Okay, perhaps she was giving the role of a sacrificing mother or a devoted wife or a very beautiful daughter who are having a kind of shadowy appearance in the works of the upper caste people, or a kind of a guest appearance, or somebody who is very much sacrificing, just like the characters of the Hindi serials. So that was there, the representation of the Dalit women in the works of the upper caste men, upper caste women, and even in the works of Dalit women, that was a completely distorted image. Okay, so now the Dalit women, through their autobiographies, they are protesting against those distorted images. And it is the kind of a big protest against the unyielding and established social order, which is giving or imposing those particular hegemony or patriarchal, what I say, strains on those Dalit women, on those lowly people. And here we will see that Prisons We Broke, it is an embodiment of protest, it is an embodiment of resilience, because it is the literature which is a kind of a battlefield for the Dalit people. And whereas literature is battlefield, that their protest is their weapon and resistance is their strategy. So they are resisting against all those odds that are coming on their way, and they are protesting against those established social order. They are rejecting the entire hegemonic tradition that are imposed upon them by the upper caste people. And what is the mode of protest? It is very interesting. Different types of protest are there. Some of the characters who were protesting against the upper class people's dress code, okay, and whenever they were playing games with their what I say, the little girls, whenever they are playing, they were copying the style whatever was there focused. They were focusing this particular dress style, dress code, which was done by the upper caste people, and through that copying of the particular dress code or style, they are actually satirizing the upper caste people and the upper caste women. And here, the protest is through the mode of what I say, silence also, because we know that silence is sometimes more eloquent than words. And it is the autobiography which will showcase how the Dalit women, they are protesting through their silence, they are protesting through their shrieking, through their shouting, through their ululations. So there are multiple types of protest, and it's beautiful, beautiful document how the Dalit women are protesting. So this autobiography, it is resolutely demolishing the myth that Dalit patriarchy is democratic. It is another interesting portion of this particular autobiography, because in outer society, people may say that yes, Dalit women, they don't have to, okay, don't have to just what I say, don't have to just undergo that kind of what I say, deprivation in their own society. And as far as Dalit patriarchy is concerned, it is a little bit democratic in their attitude, but it is completely false. And here the baby Kamle, she tries to unveil all the brutal physical tortures or the all type of what I say, deprivations that are inflicted on Dalit women by their own men. And perhaps this is the what I say, the most what I say, it is a very tragic act of a tragedy of humanity, that one oppressed, they are oppressing another oppressed only to fill up the gap or fill up the urge, okay, of their mind. Because in the upper caste society, the Dalit men, they are undergoing the same kind of deprivation when they are coming back to home, and as if they are pouring all their angst, they are pouring all their disgust to their women. So who are the worst sufferers here? The Dalit women. And even in the Dalit society, we have seen the daughters-in-law, they are the what I say, the subject of the detailed regulation, and it seems that they are under the sub what I say, the lowest condition, okay, as far as the hierarchy of the society is concerned. And this particular text is it's destroying the myth that Dalit patriarchy is democratic. Not at all. And it is unveiling the brutal physical tortures that are inflicted on the Dalit women. There are some characters in this particular sorry, in this particular novel, that a male character is there, and this particular character, he is very much broad-minded, and in the outer world he is known to the people as somebody who is very progressive in mentality, but he is also advocating for the cause of the Dalit women in general whenever he is in the outer society. But when he is at his home, and the character, his daughter, she is undergoing with some deprivations in her in-laws house, and when she came to her father's house with the hope that she will get some justice, because her father is of a very progressive nature, and she is in her father's home, and she is now just delineating the deprivations or the tortures that are inflicted on her by her in-laws. Then what the father is doing, he is telling her that you take food, and after taking food you just go to your in-laws house, because it is your destiny. You are a woman, you can't come here, okay. So now you see that that particular man, who is of progressive mentality for the outer people, for the outer world, but when he is at his home, he is becoming the patriarch. And that is the tragedy that the Dalit women are facing with. And baby Kamble, with her autobiography, she is putting forward all types of resistance that the women are focusing. And the thing is that these people, these women, they understood that we have to educate ourselves, we have to realize ourselves, we have to make ourselves empowered, we have to come ourselves, we have to come forward from that distorted type, from the distorted constraints of the society. It cannot be it is the, what I say, the emergence of our identity, it is the basis of the humanity that we have to come forward. And we are demolishing all the what I said, the myths which is associated with the Dalit patriarchy. And Prisons We Broke is in its essential a great work as far as the resistance of Dalit women is concerned. As far as the word resistance is concerned, I am remembering Barbara Harlow Tom's resistance literature. So as far as Dalit literature, it is also a type of resistance literature wherein they are dismantling against all the types of discriminations that are there in the society, who are making them subjugated from multiple means. And they are coming forward with their true self, with their protest, with their resilience. So that is all about the Prisons We Broke. There is another work, The Weave of My Life, which is another interesting one. And we know that The Weave of My Life, it is not that type of autobiography. It has been subtitled as Dalit Women's Memoirs. It has been written by Urmila Power. It was written in Marathi, but it was translated later by Maya Pandit into English. And here, Urmila Power, she was a great Dalit feminist and a Dalit activist also. As an exponent of Dalit feminism, she recounts three generations of Dalit women. The generation of her grandmother, her mother, and herself, who struggled hard in overcoming that triple load of discrimination. So that is the thing that the Dalit women writers felt, that if I am delineating only my story, that what should be the situation of the other people who are not able to speak? So I should speak for my community. So then she was collecting the experiences from her mother, whatever she had to undergo in that patriarchal society, and what her grandmother used to undergo. So she recounted the stories of three generations of Dalit women. And here she engages with different kinds of issues, starting with identity, selfhood, caste discrimination, class consciousness, changing notions of patriarchy, as well as the participation of Dalit women in the activity of the, what I say, Dalit struggles, Dalit movement. Okay, so that was the need of the Dalit women. Whatever all the Dalit women, starting from Urmila Power of Obama, or that is Baby Kamble, they all are stating that it is the issue of our identity that should come into the forefront. And autobiography, it is the literary genre which is the most potent tool of expressing our identity. And not only the root, not only the issues of identity, all the types of discriminations, the interplay of or the, what is there, the multiple layers of discrimination, different types of patriarchy by the mainstream society, patriarchy in their own society, their participation in the, what I say, emancipatory struggles. All the issues were just collected by Urmila Power in this particular novel, that is The Weave of My Life. And as it is a memoir, we know that there is a little difference between autobiography and memoir. When autobiography, it is delineating actually the every details of a particular life, from his childhood days, from the adulthood days. So we can chart all the details. But in a memoir, we can take only the turning points of a particular life. Okay, so she was just collecting all the touchstone events, all the turning points from the different characters of who are related to them. We are related to her mother. Okay, so then she was just weaving all the stories together, just like a cane basket. You know that in Marathi, the title of this particular novel was Iron. Iron means something, the making, the weaving of a cane basket. You can see in that cover page of the book also, it is the inner picture of a cane basket. So how Urmila Power, she is relating her delineation of the life story of Dalit women with this particular weaving of a basket, because as the profession of her mother is concerned, she used to weave cane basket. Okay, and whenever Urmila, she was just planning to write something for her community, for her individuality, she was focusing, she was noticing the way her mother was weaving the basket, okay, with the help of the canes. So that she wanted to do, and she was just giving a kind of a similarity between her mother's profession, her mother's weaving the cane basket, with her weaving the stories. Okay, so that is the similarity between her mother. Her mother was not able to express her emotions because she was very illiterate. She was totally ignorant. They actually took all this identity as if they are taken into granted. This is their task, this is their works. So they were just destined to do that. But through this particular autobiography, Urmila Power, she was recounting all those details, not only of her life, but also from the life of her mother, from the life of her grandmother. And she was selecting all these issues, all these the issues of patriarchy, class discrimination, caste discrimination, identity issues, when they were participating for the emancipatory struggles, what were the problems they were facing at their society, outside the society. So she was reading all the details of the society. And another notion and the common notion in this autobiography is that wherever she was expressing or feeling that women's issues didn't have a kind of a particular agenda of the Dalit movement, and even in the women's movement there was the tertiary presence of the Dalit people, Dalit women specifically. Now they are telling us, she is telling us that yes, what are the lacuna and what are the problems in the Dalit women, in the women's movement. I am just going to express those particular issues in my autobiography. So these are the things which she wanted to just bring out through her particular autobiography. And yes, if we say that what are the strategies that the Dalit women are taking, whenever I was just working with the Dalit women writers, I have seen while going through the text that language was taken a kind of a weapon in their resistance. And whenever they were using the language, as far as the regional works are concerned, I didn't have the chance to go through the Tamil or the Marathi version, but as far as the translated version is concerned, we have seen that the use of colloquial, a kind of a language which is something, the reclamation of a cultural frame of something which is based on the oral tradition, it was there because they were satirizing, they were ridiculing the upper caste, what I say, upper caste norms, upper caste societal behaviors, and the use of ridicule or lamponing was also used by them as a means of subservience. Okay, and they were foregrounding the use of transgressive language as a means of self-defense. So, whenever the language strategies of the Dalit women are concerned, we have seen that they were not borrowing any kind of what I say class language from the traditional literature, or they were not going through just the description of their experiences in a very policed manner, in a very what I say a furnished manner. Nothing was there in their works. They were using their day-to-day works, day-to-day words which we may sometimes we may call that these are some obscene words, some slang words, words which are related to their body parts, words related to their meals. Okay, so they were deliberately using those terms again and again because that is the difference in their lifestyle. There is nothing which we may call the aesthetic, which may call the what I say uh, standard in their work. And even when the translators they were translating their works, they were deliberately retaining those terms. Okay, because I have taken the interview of Maya Pandit about the language strategies because she was the translator of most of the autobiographies of the Dalit women, and she told me that yes, we wanted to make the what is it that particular terms, those particular slang terms intact, only to make the text a little different, a little foreign to the readers because they are different, their situation is different, their question is different, their experience is different, the language is different, their ideology is different. So why their language should be the same? Their language also should be the different from the from the normal aesthetics, from the normal work, okay, the traditional works. So that was the use of language strategies that they were using. And as far as their resistance was concerned, we have already just discussed that how they were using body language, gestures, lampoonings. They were shrieking, they were shouting, they were ululating, they were sometimes remaining silent. So there were so many strategies other than language strategies. But yeah, language strategies are very common in the works of the Dalit women as far as their protest is concerned, as far as their different lifestyle is concerned. And these are the challenges that is really faced by the Dalit writer. We know that some of the writings are, yes, translated into English, but there are so a vast bulk of the literature that is written in regional languages, and very few are translated into English. And if they are translated into English, they are just published by some foreign publications, and it is very costly to buy the books. And even the books are not available in our local market. So when I was doing my work, I couldn't get the text of Karaku anywhere. Okay. And I went to Hyderabad University. I was searching the whole library, but though this particular text was prescribed in the syllabus, but nowhere, there was not a single copy of Karaku in the library. They had given me a scanned copy of the book Karaku. So perhaps that there is some barrier that is imprisoning this literature, and language barrier, it is the most significant one. These people are literacy rate is very low. They are not educated. They are not actually conscious about their rights. And somebody they are writing in. There are some oral autobiographies also. They are speaking, and some other people, they are doing some projects. They are taking into account all the details. Then there are another agency who is doing the work of translation. That there are another people who are doing the work of publication. So it is a huge process that is going on, and it is very much difficult for them to write it first in regional language, then just make it a little bit polite, just translate it, and then just publish it. So it is a little bit difficult that the Dalit literature is facing. And the other thing is that this literature is a little bit radical in substance. So sometimes this particular genre of literature, it is resented and denounced for being too much propagandistic, unaesthetic, univocal, or monotonous, or aggressive, because they are only describing the deprivations, the experiences, the harsh realities. So where is the pleasure that people will get from this particular type of writing? So, but there is no problem with the Dalit writers. They are accepting these challenges bravely. It seems that what to do? We are not going to give you something which is a pleasure-giving literature. We want something which is propagandistic, which is unaesthetic, monotonous, aggressive. No, they didn't care. They was taking these challenges boldly. They were accepting all these things bravely. So that was the peculiarity of the Dalit people. That was the difference. That was the individuality. And they were just writing in the manner they wanted to write. So probably they maybe this type of things may be taken as challenges, but whatever the Dalit literature as a separate genre, they are not going to give us a kind of a spiritual or aesthetic pleasure. It is a completely what I say unaesthetic and materialistic literature that is going to protest the age-old deprivations of the society. Okay, so that is the challenge that the literature is facing. And as far as conclusion is concerned, we can say that, yeah, though the literature is facing so many challenges, it is obviously going to reach the stage of self-authentication, because, yeah, we are having a number of published versions also, translated versions also, and in many universities, this particular texts are being taught. These are there in the what I say curriculum of the syllabus, and people are going through the works. But it is a long journey that they had to go. It had to be written, researched, published, translated, critiqued more and more. So that the motto is just to break the century-old age of silence and servitude, and to get the desired effect to abolish this triple burden of caste, classes, gender injustices from the Indian society. So if we want to demolish all these burdens from Indian society, if we are able to establish ourselves into the main arena of literature, we have to go a long voyage, and it should become the concern for the academia also. So more and more research should be there in this particular field, and the day is very near that this particular literature is going to get a particular place in the gamut of Indian literature. So with this hope, I want to close my presentation. I am being very much thankful for your what I say patience. Okay, so I'm thankful to Prashant sir also for giving me this opportunity, because it is a kind of a real spiritual bliss for me, because satsang, it is a really satsang for me, and all the evenings of Sundays are very special for me. And whenever I have given a chance to just speak something on my particular topic, on this particular topic, because it is very much close to my heart, and it seems that I am able to express my heart, express my experiences, whatever I come across while going through the Dalit literature. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, Patriot Madam. I want to thank also you, because you are one of my very good friends, and you are doing a very great job in most of the satsangs. Thank you, Patriot.
Thank you very much, madam. Actually, today I'm having.
Yeah, Patriot, there is some echo.
Sir, could you please unmute my other device, sir? Because in this
Sure.
device, I'm.
Yes. Muted.
Thank you very much, sir. I wanted to unmute this device because in my other device, I'm unable to install the video. Thank you very much, sir. So I would like to thank our keynote speaker for today, who has deliberated on such a wonderful topic, and it was done so impassionately that every one of us, all the participants, could highly get educated, as well as we could get a clear idea about the experiences, the excruciating realities that the Dalit as race and as a part of Indian system experiences even during this current times. Thank you, madam. And you have deliberated it so well. It was such a brilliant expression of how the Dalit autobiographies want to reveal through their unspoken voices about the real nature of oppression that they have been deliberating. Our resource person, the keynote speaker, Dr. Shumali Madam, for illuminating the participants on such a benevolent topic. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I would like to ask the participants to raise their queries or questions which they would like to put forward to our resource person.
Ms. Patriot, already the questions are there in the chat box. Kindly take up 1 or 2 questions, because already the time is too long. So kindly take 1 or 2 questions, please.
So there was a question in the chat box regarding the relevance of feminist literature or about the Dalit experiences. Is it relevant today? As I am connecting from a different device, yes, I have found the question. Madam, have you come across a woman character of upper class trying to pass on her frustration on another woman character of the lower class? Since at that time, women, although were marginalized. So could you please illuminate on this point, Madam?
Yes, as far as literature, am I audible, Patriot?
Yes, yes, Madam.
Yes, as far as literature is concerned, there are in the upper class women's writings, we have seen that yes, those things are there because upper class people, if sometimes they are frustrated, being frustrated, uh, it is a natural thing that sometimes they are trying to pass her frustration on another character of lower class, as if they were just what I say, they were trying to fill up the angst, feel or so describe or ventilate their angst, whatever is there in their mind, and they are what I say, depriving the Dalit women because already they are being oppressed by the patriarchal society. So those things were very much common, and not only in the case of the upper class women, in the case of the Dalit men also we have seen such kind of things because yes, they are deprived, they are subjugated in the outer society, and they are not able to ventilate their protest in the outer society. Okay, but whenever they are coming across their own people who are less, what I say, privileged than them, and who are the most deprived section of the society. So deliberately they want to transfer their burden of loads to the other people who are the least deprived section. So it is perhaps that is the tendency to just unburden yourself, to unburden your problem, and to just deliver, to just throw away the problem to the other people who are less marginalized than you. So, Patriot.
Thank you very much, Madam. The next question is, does it mean that the Dalit writing was a purposeful attempt to defy the way of life of the upper class by having their own form of language and literature?
Yeah, obviously, and that is the true self of the Dalit writings, because whenever they are writing, they are defying those distorted images, those traditions which were there in the upper class society, and for that reason, perhaps they were wanting for a new type of genre, a new type of strategy. As far as language is concerned, I have already stated that how they were using a different type of language which is completely different from the traditional or the upper caste literature. And as far as the literary genre is concerned, they are also making their genre a little bit different from the other works. As far as this particular autobiographies genre, autobiography is concerned, we have seen that they are consciously violating even the genre of autobiography. They are making their works a kind of a testimony. Okay, so they are using their strategies, okay, so that they can defy the upper caste traditions. That's it.
Yes, Madam. Thank you very much. I think this question, which has been asked by Dr. A.S. Puvamma, is also in the same line. However, may I just say it out again? Has Dalit feminist writing been able to shower sunlight on these oppressed women in voicing their suffering and enabling them to rejuvenate?
Yeah, of course, because Dalit feminism is something which may be called a discourse of dissent. It is something which is just what I say, protesting against all those kind of subversive mentality or the instruments, whatever the upper caste people are using to subjugate these Dalit women. And Dalit feminism, it is different. It is something which is totally independent, and they are little bit different from the mainstream feminism. And through this particular ideology, they want to just to describe or highlight the lacuna, the gap which was there in the upper caste literature, and they are just going to fill up the gaps with their own strategies, own skills, own presentation. So obviously, Dalit feminism is a successful one. So, Patriot.
Thank you very much, Madam. Those were the questions, and we have a lot of comments regarding your deliberation. Yes,
Ma'am,
yes. So,
can I just posit a point? I know after listening to the keynote speaker. I felt what the outcome of this webinar on Dalit feminism, I think could be shortlisted and sent to the National Commission of Women Forum and request them to help such women who are really oppressed. I don't know the strategies and all. It's my wild thinking once again. So I don't know. I think you can do that because it shouldn't go for a waste, this kind of a deliberation. It was wonderfully put forth. I don't know, you all can decide later in the
Yes,
iSPELL.
ma'am.
Thank
So
you.
much. Thank
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your
Thank
suggestion.
you. Yeah.
Madam, may I now invite and request the chairperson for today's session to give her expert comments on our today's deliberation by the resource person. So for the uninitiated, Dr. Shamta Chaudhary, the chairperson for today's seminar, e-seminar, is the head Department of English in the School of Sciences and Humanities and the Director of Research Department. She graduated from Sophia College, Ajmer, and obtained her PhD from Kota Open University in 2002, taught through interactive sessions. She completed her doctorate on a comparative study of formal and informal methods of teacher education in teaching English. As director of Center for Research in Distance Education, she has organized many workshops, conferences, and seminars. She has also been awarded Rajasthan Leadership Award 2012 for her contribution in the field of education. Her teaching and research areas include post-colonial literature, Indian literature, Commonwealth literature, Dalit literature, contemporary Canadian literature, short fiction, distance education, and communication skills. Recently, she introduced 3 certificate programs in English where enrolled students attended a week-long camp. In camp, elements and principles of creative writing, phonology and morphology, and functional English is taught through interactive sessions. Her articles have been published in various national and international journals, and she has presented papers at national and international conferences and seminars in India and abroad. Madam Shamta Chaudhary is also the coordinator of iSPELL India, and today we have no one as renowned and efficient as Madam to chair our session for today's e-seminar. Kindly take this time, Madam.
Thank you very much. And I'm indeed honored to be part of iSPELL. And today we heard Dr. Somali Saha reflecting on Dalit feministic perception. She gave a very, you can say, she spoke on length about who are Dalits, how the distribution of society due to caste, class, and gender classified the division later on. Through birth, it was permanently labeled as gendered. How the Dalit women, Dalit among the Dalit, and even we can say they are twice cursed as women and as Dalit. I want to quote here one of the very famous, you can say hard-hitting lines of Dalit poet Chalpalli Swarupa Rani. She said, I quote, "The day I was born, I bore the imprint of an unchaste woman thrown into the drainage of traditions and dustbins of customs. I become the forbidden one. I am the one carrying the onus of age-old rejections, generation of humiliation as my legacy." She concludes her poem in a way, in which cantos of your country's framed history will you write it down, my story? So beautifully she has given us that what she feels. So we can say that oppression and discrimination of these marginalized Dalit groups run deep often resulting in physical violence and persecution. In this day and age, it is important to be an ally and advocate for those whose voices are silenced, and still they are making a mark. They are making a change in the mindset of society, and destroying the prejudices takes a concrete effort by many, and very, very little bit help towards removing discrimination. These Dalit women writers have traversed a long path over the last 4 decades. During this time, their consciousness of what it means to be a Dalit woman have evolved in many ways, as reflected in their writings. One notices an increasingly creative vibrancy and political vitality in this development. We all know that the Marathis were the first who started, and Baby Kamble was the first Dalit woman to write her autobiography to the new generation women like Vardhanya Pawar and Chaya Shilpa Kamble, who show us how the clear progression in the way they have interpreted and reconstructed the realities of their gendered existence. So Dalit feminism has come a long way, and with many milestones in the process. This change can be perceived in the way they have defined their identities, perceived their agency, and interpreted social realities. From looking at themselves as Dalit women who were identified with their communities, they have now arrived at a point which defines themselves as neo, with multifaceted identities. It might be interesting to see the landmarks in the changing nature of their feministic consciousness as articulated in their writings. So we can see the first generation who had the struggle for the truth, like the Baby Kamble, Shantabai Dani, Shantabai Kamble, who were the direct followers of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, an active participant in his movement. They assimilated his message to educate and to agitate. We can see many, many writings signifying that how there was these agencies of writing became the socio-political transformation for them. You can now see the voice of the modern individual, acutely sentient and deliberately audacious, of second generation of Dalit writers who not only came up like Professor Kumud Pavde, a Sanskrit scholar, Jyoti Lanjwar, a fiery poet, Urmila Pawar, a creative writer whose autobiography has represented the strong sense of political and cultural identity as educated middle class Dalit women. So these women have given us, they have challenged the Varna system, they have proposed a critique of patriarchal ideologies and practices in their own communities as well as in the society around them. They were strongly feminist, yet they were different from the upper class women in the feminist movement and who demanded reforms, not only in the rape laws, in the family institutions as their political agenda. So we can see that there are strong protests coming up through these writings, and they want to say that we have constructed histories, proclaimed differences, and we are still in the rise of being asserted as being equal, even better. So we can see that in the 90s and all, now we can see there is a major ideological and political change, and they now do not call themselves as Dalit anymore. They are the neos. They want themselves to be called as missioners, as you can say they are identifying as a distinct political assertion of being equal and even better. We can have Chaya Karokner, Shilpa Kamble. They are quite different, and they are coming up with I won't take much time because Somali ma'am has given us a panoramic view of the writings of Sharmila Rege, Bama, Baby Kamble, Urmila Pawar, and she's also touched upon the writings of Shantabai, Mukta, Kumud Pavde, Shantabai Kamble. So when we see these writings, we feel that these writers, they have given voice to and to the issues not only of distinction of being classified as Dalit, but also has taken up issues of poverty, class exploitation, and caste violence from the Ambedkar point of view, but also from the means you can say the social addresses which are established today in this world. They have explored that the women questions, there is new ones, and now the globalization has taken place. So we have to see that we are sensitive towards these people also. And these new writers have certainly changed the map of subaltern women writing through their ideological positions and literary consultations. They have targeted for their critiques of Dalit patriarchy as Western, how these new voices have flourished, and they are certainly opening up new directions for creative articulations. Thank you, ma'am. It was indeed a pleasure listening to you, and we do hope that such projections give us a new fodder to think of, and it was really a super presentation, and I feel I should congratulate the organizer for taking up such deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We are hopeful that in the future, this type of power structure will be demolished from Indian society, and there will be a game of creative endeavor. And we are looking forward to that particular India, a knowledge superpower in the true sense. Thank you, ma'am, for your thoughtful observation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shamta, ma'am. We have been truly enlightened by your observations on today's keynote speaker's presentation. And all of us are aware that today we have already run behind the schedule because it was a very in-depth discussion, a very intensifying discussion, very impassioned and elaborate discussion about Dalit literature and Dalit experiences, which had been researched or which had taken expression through their literatures that we came to know from today's deliberation. And that has been truly engaging, because of which we could not keep track of the time. And therefore, now I would like to thank all the persons who have been involved with today's e-seminar, right from the event coordinator, Dr. Prashanta Chakraborty, who has been very instrumental in organizing or coordinating today's e-seminar. I would also like to thank the chairperson, Dr. Shamta Chaudhary, who has been kind enough to devote her time in expressing her expert observation on today's resource person's talk. I would also like to thank Dr. Shomali Shaha, the keynote speaker for today's e-seminar. And my heartfelt thanks goes out to the founder and secretary, Dr. G.A. Ghansham sir, who has always been present in all the spells of iSPELL, and all the EC members who have joined us today. Pardon me for not taking the name of each and every one. However, I'm truly honored to share space with all of you, and to all the participants who are the region heads and also the members of iSPELL who have joined us for today's e-seminar. Thank you all for being a truly engaging participant. And we hope that our e-seminar on today's topic, Resistance and Resurgence, Revitalizing Dalit Feminist Stand in Select Dalit Women's Testimonies, had been a successful one. So thank you all for being here, and we hope that we will have such Sunday Sahityik satsangs which will be there to illuminate our knowledge and keep us connected with each other through this platform of iSPELL. Thank you all.
Patriot ma'am, please,
Yes, sir.
please invite Dr. Prasanta sir to present the
Sir,
certificates.
okay, sir. I have been informed by Prashanta sir that the certificates would be, delivered later, because of which I have concluded. However, sir, would you like to
Thank
take
you.
the time?
Yes.
Okay.
No, thank you.
So from all of us at iSPELL, thank you all for being here, and a good night to all of you. Stay safe.
Pramod, what about the certificate?
Yes, that Prasanta sir has informed Mrs. Patriot that.
No, how come? We always present the certificate
Right.
at the end of the session.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
If
Sir,
you have, you present it, please.
Please, ma'am,
Yes.
make a request to Prasanta
Okay, sir. So,
Yeah, Pramod, if you have the certificates, kindly present it.
Yes, Prasanta sir is there. Okay, I share.
okay. So now I would like to request Prashanta sir
Yeah.
to kindly deliver the certificates.
Okay. The certificate for presenting a paper as a keynote speaker to Dr. Shomali Shah. So the first certificate goes to Dr. Shomali Shah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Next certificate is to Dr. Shamata Chaudhary, madam, for your chairpersonship and your fine conclusion, fine deliberation. Thank you,
sir.
madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And the last certificate goes to Mrs. Patriot Burma for her good anchoring, good presentation, and her good performance. So thank you, madam. Please accept our certificate. Patriot. Okay. So with this, I like to conclude the session, and good night to you all. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sirs and madams.